progeny. You engage in making children. But they said, no, this is a higher purpose. And then even Brahma had to surrender, even though he became angry. But he had to surrender because it was. But here, when it's Priyavrata, ultimately Brahma also comes. And immediately Narada Muni, he sees Brahma coming on this, he sees this sworn airplane coming in the sky. He can understand, oh, my father is coming here. So immediately Narada Muni falls flat on our obeisances. And Brahma comes and preaches to both of them. And say, nah, there's something needs to be done. We have a duty. And the duty of Priyavrata, he is a Kshatriya. His duty is to take care of the planet. That is duty now. So then Narada Muni immediately agrees. So in that sense, it's all due to time, place and circumstance. It's all due to time, place and circumstance. And there might be times where we should do what is required more than what is actually advantage for our own spiritual life. Because for sure, what was best for Priyavrata in that circumstance was to stay with Narada Muni. But he engaged in 11, what is it? Pataras, I think it is. A patata is 100 million years times 11. Priyavrata was ruling as man. So, and then he, of course, then he got entangled. He had to have a wife because he needed to get children and he needed to rule. And you cannot have a king with no wife. That doesn't work. Because if you're having that kind of responsibility, then you need the sweetness of this kind of facility. And then you need the softness in life, because ruling is very hard. It's very straining. It's very, you're dealing with all these management. So then you need to have the soft side to it also. A woman who comes and glorifies you every day. And then we hear as Yudhishthira Maharaj wakes up, there's all these people coming and glorifying, not Krishna, but Yudhishthira Maharaj. Oh, you're such a fantastic king, you did this fantastic deed, you did all this, and you're so famous, everyone loves you. So this is the duty of the wife of a king, completely just glorifying her husband. You are such a fantastic king, and supporting him like that, giving him the strength to stand up every day and rule the whole planet. So that's a responsibility. Maharaj Raipuji knows what it's like to be a temple president. That's ruling a few persons here in a small temple in Landis. But ruling the whole planet, that's lots of responsibility. So then you need a wife, and then automatically you need children, because you hear the whole story. Dasharatha Maharaj, he had no son, and his life was misery. Not because he in that sense wanted a son, because it was his duty. And in his whole line, many generations back, hundreds of generations back, there was never a time where the king was not capable of getting a son to continue the rulership. So Dasharatha says, I will be the disgrace for my whole race here, because I cannot live up to that responsibility. So Priyavrata took that kind of responsibility, went in and he got a wife and he got many children, and he ruled the planet. And he started to enjoy. He became actually not covered by Maya, but he started enjoying material sphere. But at one point, after 11 aputas of years, 100 million years, 100 million years, he started thinking, hey, now it's time to renounce. And then immediately he left everything behind and just took to renunciation. So that's the result. If you do it according, even not leaving devotional service, because he was still in devotional service, but even leaving the path that you think seemingly would give yourself more advancement in spiritual life, even leaving that path on the order of superiors is superior to just following one's own mind, even if it's connected to Krishna, even if it's making progress in spiritual life. Because what is the real progress in spiritual life? Saranagati. That's where all progress comes from. That's why Krishna says, Mam ekam saranam vaja. Go only for this one thing. But the most important thing, the most important instructions we have is the instructions from Srila Prabhupada. And our authorities should be representative of Prabhupada, leading us to following Prabhupada's system. So Prabhupada's system was definitely chanting a minimum of 16 good rounds a day and studying Srimad Bhagavatam a minimum of 1 hour a day. Besides from that, hearing in the morning and reading. So lots of Shravanam Kirtanam, but also a lot of using our energy, using these bodies to actually Krishnaize them so that we can make progress. Because one thing, if too much of even a good thing comes the opposite. So everything needs to be balanced. We need to find our balance. What kind of Vana and Ashram we belong to. And living in that balance will ultimately attain success without a doubt. So that's what makes Krishna consciousness so extremely easy. The only thing we need to do is surrender. But not to surrender our intelligence. Surrender all our bad habits. Give up. Give up our independence. And just understand, my only purpose in life is to serve Krishna with a pure heart. I have nothing else. That's my duty. Das, amudas. That's all I am. So we need to prepare to become the best servant we can be for Krishna. We need to become like Narada Muni. Narada Muni is so powerful. Wherever he approaches, he immediately surrenders. We heard of stories of Mikai, the Honda, and Ramanujan's Valmiki Muni. All these persons very, very degraded. Valmiki could not even chant the name of Ram. Narada Muni came and said, you chanted the name of Ram, but he couldn't. So what did he do? He said, chant the name of Mara. Mara, 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 Mara. So he was chanting Mara. Mara means death. But Mara, Ram is included in Mara. So when you say it very fast after each other, like Mara, 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 it becomes Rama, Rama, Rama. Depending on where you put the emphasis. Rama or Mara comes the same. So in that way, Narada Muni, he cheated him because he was so degraded. So he said, just chant the name of death. But to Prajnaparamita, he cheated on a completely different level. He still cheated him. He went there and said, now you should, I will tell you a story. And he told this whole story of a king, and all of a sudden when Prajnaparamita, he's sitting there and saying, wow, this is a great story, all these great instructions, I should live like that. And then he says, but how can this fool, in the story, how can Prajnaparamita actually? How can Prajnaparamita, how can he be such a fool that he performs all these sinful activities even though he's completely clear, he knows what to do? So then at the end of the story he found out, actually it's me speaking about. I'm that fool. I'm that fool, I know what is right, I know what is wrong. But still I'm performing all these yagyas, all these sacrifices, killing all these animals with no good purpose and with no good result. So what I should do is I should simply surrender unto the Supreme Personality of God. Narada Muni, how did he preach to Dhruva Maharaj, the son of Uttanapad? Dhruva, he was Arta. He came in distress. He's actually the one symbolizes that. These four peaceful people coming to Krishna consciousness. All of them is symbolized by one person in the Shastra. So Dhruva Maharaj is the one symbolizing the person in distress to take to Krishna consciousness. So we all know the story. He could not get on the lap of his mother, and his stepmother chastised him and said, you could take birth from my womb, and then in your next life you might be qualified to sit on the lap of your father, the king. And his father, Uttanapad, didn't even do anything. So not only was he stopped from getting his desired result, and as a kshatriya, that in itself is enough to become angry, but his father didn't show him the affection he ought to. So Dhruva Maharaj, with warm tears flowing down his cheeks, he ran to his mother and said, what should I do? And the mother said, you can cry and I will cry and we just sit there and cry together. But the real solution is do what the great sages do. And Dhruva Maharaj said, where can I find that personality, Supreme Lord? Where can I find him? And she said, we go to the forest. The great sages, what I heard, the great sages go to the forest and there they find the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj says, I'll immediately go. So when Dhruva Maharaj was on his way to the forest, what happened? Narada Muni came. And he didn't say, oh, it's such a good idea. That he said to the Hayavasvas and Savarasvas. He said, very good idea. You go to the mountains, follow your brothers. Your brothers, they're very intelligent. You should also be very intelligent. You follow them. But to Dhruva Maharaj, he did something else. He said, don't go. Stay here. You're a child. You're 5 years old. Right? You should go back to the palace. Things happen. This is part of the material world. And you go back and your father, he's okay. And your stepmother, she's okay. And your mother, she's always there for you. So you go back and you play. You're a young child. You're that now. And Dhruva Maharaj said, very good lecture, but it doesn't sit in my heart. I can't follow that instruction. And then Narada Muni was very satisfied. Like Krishna is testing Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna is on his knees crying tears of desperation, Arjuna crying, then you're sad, right? Such a person crying. So when Arjuna was crying, what was Krishna doing? Smiling. Okay, now you're ready to hear. So Narada Muni, he was testing Dhruva Maharaj. Are you ready to do this? Will you really have the power when you go in the forest? Will you have the determination to go there and go through all the austerities it takes? That actually Krishna, he appears for you within a few months. And I think I can remember no example in Shastra where anyone goes from that platform of being a Kanishta Adhikari. Because Prabhupada says all these 4 persons coming to Krishna consciousness are Kanishta Adhikaris. And he mentioned Dhruva Maharaj, Caitanya, all of them was Kanishta Adhikaris. Why? Because they approached Krishna with a motive. It wasn't on the Abhilasha Sundar. It was a motive. They wanted to get rid of the stress, they wanted wealth, they were inquisitive, or they wanted knowledge. So when Narada Muni saw Dhruva had that kind of determination, he said, okay, you go. That's intelligence. You're intelligent. You should go to the forest. And this is what you should do. You should build yourself a deity there. You can make deities of all these things. You can make them of earth. So many things you can make deities from. You make yourself a deity and you worship that deity. And you chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Take bath 3 times a day and live like a sadhu, live in the forest. By living like that with full determination, performing austerities, the Supreme Lord will appear before you. So Narada Muni did that. Oh, sorry, Dhruva Maharaj did that. And we heard in the first month he was drinking only water. Drinking only water. Next month he was eating only leaves. Next month he was not even doing that. Next month he was not even breathing. First breathing once a month, was it? Or once a day? Yeah. Once every 9th day. Because his first 3 days he would drink water every 3rd day, and then he will eat leaves every 6th day, and then he will take 1 breath every 9th day. So that's austerity, and that's why, because such a boy, and that at 5 years old, he performed that kind of austerities, was completely determined. There's only one pointed attention, full determination. Lord appeared within a few months and gave him practically pure devotional service. Said there, Dhruva Maharaj didn't know not what to do when he saw Vishnu was standing there. But Vishnu gave him the power, empowered him from within, how to offer beautiful prayers. And then because Dhruva Maharaj, he already asked for something. I'm not even sure he asked it out aloud. But he just had that desire when he approached the Lord. That's why it's so important that when we perform our devotional service, especially when we are chanting, we are not thinking about sense gratification, because Krishna fulfills our desires. So that's why the chanting is so important. If we space out when we are chanting, we are saying, Krishna, please fulfill my desire of being spaced out. If we're tired when we're chanting, when we want to go to sleep when we're chanting, we're saying, Krishna, please fulfill my desire of being tired, being unmotivated. But if we chant with enthusiasm, if we chant, we really try whatever we can, like Dhruva Maharaj. When we try to compare ourselves with these great personalities, we can't be like them, but we can follow in their footsteps. So Dhruva Maharaj, that kind of determination we should have. Like the determination of Narada Muni, the preaching spirit of Narada Muni. If you're following the footsteps of these great personalities, we will get to them. We will get to that kind of level of devotional service. Because what we meditate, we become. So if you're constantly meditating upon, oh, this devotional service is so troublesome, I'm so tired, I'm so not motivated, well, become motivated. Who's to blame but the one who's not motivated? Who's to blame but the one who's not enthusiastic? Who to blame the one who's not happy? Is there something wrong with the process, or is there something wrong with the way I perform the process? If we think it's the first, we're atheists. We don't believe in Krishna's words. Oh, it works, but it doesn't work for me. Or we are in Kali Yuga and so it won't work in this age. But this is not what Krishna is saying. Actually, he's saying it's easier in Kali Yuga. We are the best. We are the best persons to take on Krishna consciousness. Even better than Dhruva Maharaj. Because we are living in the most perfect age for taking up Krishna consciousness. And we have the mercy not only of Krishna, but of Sri Sri Govinda and Srila Prabhupada. So when we have the mercy of these personalities, everything is possible. Ukam karoti vatanam pangam lambeti krimyat krivatamam mande Sri Govinda. And when we have that kind of determination, full surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nothing becomes impossible. Prabhupada used to say, impossible is words in full dictionary. Nothing becomes impossible. A lame man can cross mountains. A blind man or dumb man can quote beautiful poetry. So this is impossible from a worldly point of view. But from Krishna's point of view, nothing is impossible. So even though it doesn't matter where we are in our situation right now, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what level we are on, Shraddha to Prema. In one sense it doesn't matter. What matters is where we want to get up. And the determination, the one point of attention we have to attain that state of bhakti. And it comes only from association with people who have the same, with enthusiasm. If we want to go on like, if we like, always like just hanging in, right? People hardly can't talk, right? Because it's so draining to talk. Or when we're singing kirtan, right? It's just standing there, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sing with the heart. Perform everything you're doing with the heart. That is enthusiasm, that's devotional service. So that's where everything comes from. Utsaham nisthiyathaya. Satam prasangam mamavyaya samido bhavanti vidkana rasayana kata tadyosanat aso apavagavatmani shraddha bhatya bhakti anukramishyati. Satam prasangam, associating with devotees, prasangam, it's not just sangam, it's prasangam. And the difference is prasangam, not contrary to just sangam, is associating with devotees about really intensifying our devotion. Prasangam. That's associating with devotees. Not just, okay, we do things together, but we drag each other down. No, the opposite. Let's help each other to become more enthusiastic, more clear, more awake, become like Narada Muni. Why did Prabhupada, why did Narada Muni have such a power when they're preaching? Because they're living what they're preaching. They're living it. It's not just, oh yeah, you should become enthusiastic. Right, then be it. Whatever we want to give to others, we need to exemplify. And because that is the process, that's Krishna's system. So when we have to do it, when we do it, it becomes that. Naturally we become that. We become who we serve. We steal the qualities. Actually we don't steal them because they keep them. But we get them from them. So if we are serving Srila Prabhupada, we get the qualities of Prabhupada. And we're serving this devotee. If we serve a devotee who's in Maya, it's still good. But we will not get the same benefit as serving a devotee who is really having that kind of qualities. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido. They're so glorious, Krishna says. That quality of associating with devotees prasanga. Virya, very, very wonderful. Samvido. Bhavanti ritkana rasayana katam. Why? Before Bhavanti ritkana rasayana katam. It's a rasayana. It's a rasayana for the rit, for the heart, and for the ear. Kata. That kind of kata is a rasayana. Tadyoshanat asu. Asu is very fast. Very fast. Tadyoshanat, by following that culture. Asu. Apavaga vadmani. That path, vadmani, apavaga, of liberation. Pavaga means the material world. There's all these pa, we will not get into it now. But apavaga is the opposite. Following that path of liberation, our liberation, service to Krishna. By living that, in the prasanga of devotees, Shraddha Ratya Bhakti Anukramishati, very fast, from Shraddha, it goes from Shraddha Ratya to Rati, Shraddha Bhava, Rati, Anukramishati. Yeah. From Shraddha to Bhava to Shraddha for Rati to Bhava, Anukramishati, automatically. So by following the process, we will make advancement. It's the natural consequence of following the process if we actually do it with our heart. It's not enough to sit down and chant, even if you chant 64 rounds a day. If you're chanting, just completely allowing the mind to go wherever it is, it's practically like not chanting. We need to fight, we need to fight, we need to fight like Narada Muni, we need to fight like Prabhupada. You can't imagine Prabhupada, hear this tape, right? Prabhupada says, sit probably. How Prabhupada will always, you see Prabhupada giving lectures, you ever see him sitting like this? You see Prabhupada taking prasadam like this or hanging like that, that's different. Okay, we all need some relaxation. Right? But when we are chanting and when we are in kirtan and we are serving, then we are doing that thing. And when we are relaxing, we are relaxing. We are not relaxing in the kirtan, we are not relaxing while we are chanting our rounds. That's when we are Nikyakunanana. If we want to become like these personalities. And if we want to really get empowered to spread this movement all over the world. And we all, each person in this room, have that capacity. Prabhupada used to say, you should become like me. Give what I have given you, give it to others. But then we need to be as enthusiastic as Prabhupada, as powerful, as empowered by Prabhupada to our level. We have to become like Narada Muni, we have to become like these great personalities. And then this movement will spread. Like Prabhupada said, we could take over this world in 7 days. And once he looked at all the devotees and said, if you had complete faith that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we could take over the world in 7 days. Because if we have complete faith, then we are living like this. Naturally. But if we are lacking faith, if you're not really convinced, then we just hang in. Because we are intelligent. Everyone in this room, everyone taken to Krishna consciousness is intelligent. But we cannot, it's not enough. We cannot reach Krishna on the level of the intelligence. We need to reach Krishna on the level of the heart. That's the only way. We cannot reach Krishna on the level of the intelligence. The intelligence can help us, because by using our intelligence we can see what is right and what is wrong. But that's not what will bring us to Krishna. The only thing that will bring us to Krishna is Paramdrishta. Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti. It's only coming from Shraddha, getting more and more faith, so that they actually become Rati, attachment, attraction, and then Bhakti. That's Prema, Bhava, Prema. That's the only way we can attract Krishna. Nothing else attracts Krishna than Bhava. And ultimately, the only thing that attracts Krishna is Prema. So that's where it ends. In one sense, it never ends. That you would say that's where it begins. That's where real devotional service starts. When we are in the higher levels of devotional service, when we actually have some bhava, when we have some feelings and the heart is transformed. Because the intelligence will not do it. Okay. Thank you very much. I think we have no time, so maybe if there's any questions we can take them. Okay.
It was a very nice presentation. What you said about whether we should, or that we have the possibility of being like Narada Muni. And if we want to be a part of the mission, the problem is that are we ready to leave the thick tamagu? We're swimming around in tamagu, and we're proud of it, and we love it. And that is our problem. We're not even close to leaving this material world, just not an inch. Because we're so thick in tamagu, and we're proud of it, and we like to dedicate our whole day just to sit down on our butt and not move an inch, and spend our time spacing out in our own way. Because we are not ready to surrender an inch for Krishna. And like Priyavrata Maharaj, he was not even when Narada Muni came to him and asked him to surrender, he was not accepting. Huh? What a rascal, really.
Not Narada Muni, but Swayambhuva.
Oh yeah. So Swayambhuva Manu came to Maharaj.
First, he was his father. No?
Yeah.
Oh,
so what a rascal, you know. But then Brahma came down and he understood, okay, so we should ask ourselves the question, whom are we ready to take the advice from? Huh? Do we have to wait for Krishna to come and beg us to do us that favor, to ask us to surrender? Or should we continue to make these conditional surrender all the time? I have to take care of my mind, I have to take care of my body, I need to sleep, I need to eat, yeah? But am I ready to do sacrifice of, something? So that's the real thing. Because if we're not ready to sacrifice just a little, then we're stuck, and we will stay stuck for a very long time. And there's many species where we have to regret that or think about that, or many human births after this. So we should get our butt out on the street and start preaching. That's the essence.
According to one ashram, right? We all have different capacities.
Everyone here, as far as I see, has some capacity to go out and preach, and either the name, prasadam, or books. Everyone here has the capacity. I don't see anyone here who does not have the capacity. Huh?
I'll just say, we all probably gave so many facilities in ISKCON, right? There's many places you can surrender. Isn't it? I agree with you.
We're here right now, and there's a whole city of people out there. So we're not in a Varnashram college, we're not in a farm project, We are right in the middle of the center, and we're not even making plans of how to, if we want that, well then make an intelligent plan, do that. But no, we're just sitting here and hiding out, behind.
I think you're right, Mike.
Huh?
I think he's right.
You think he's right? Okay, thank you. I think we need to stop. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Prabhupada ki Jai.